form, the spindle starts to go away. Alright, so that's not an exhaustive list, but just a little bit of a refresher, because we're talking about meiosis today. Meiosis is related, but there are some differences. Meiosis is the basis of sexual reproduction. You can have a sperm and an egg come together to make a new individual. So we have a family here, and you can tell Grandma and Grandpa, I'm not sure where they're from, but from the Asian country. Anybody tell what country they're from? I'm horrible at telling the Asian countries apart. Nobody? All right. So, they obviously have their daughter here. Their daughter married a guy from, he's a whitey. They married each other, and they have their kids here. And they are all very different. You might be able to see some difference, some similarities, because sometimes you look like your mother or your father. You get certain traits from them, because you get half of your DNA from each of them. But you are distinct from each of your parents, because you get the other part from your parents, or from your other parents. And so as you mix throughout the generations, you get this variability. So sometimes you have a cousin that's a genius and can build computers since he was the time of 3, because he is very different from the rest of the family. You all have different genes, even though you're similar. We'll spend a lot of time talking about that next couple of chapters, but just a little primer today. Alright, so different individuals of a single species all have the same number of chromosomes. We talked about that. Humans have how many? 23 times 2. 46. So you get 23 from your from your mother, 23 from your father, come together. We'll talk about what those chromosomes mean, though. This was the stupidest comment in the entire book, so I have to highlight this one. Every human has 46 chromosomes. So if you threw a microscope, your chromosomes would look just like those of Angelina Jolie if you're a woman, or Brad Pitt if you're a man. So at least at the DNA level, you're super hot and sexy. Every time I read it, it's been a couple of years now. I'm just like, this is so stupid. Why? Obviously, the author gets some sort of joke out of this, but whatever. All right, so most of your cells, I should say, have 46 chromosomes. A cell that has 2 sets of chromosomes, one from your father, one from your mother, is called a somatic cell. There's a typical body cell, your muscles, skin, brain cells. They all have 46. You can actually see these chromosomes. They will, you can isolate all of the chromosomes and put them onto a little map. It's called a karyotype. You can take a picture of it and stick with a stain. Interestingly, this actually has sister chromatids, and it has homologous chromosomes, is what we call them. So the sister chromatids have been copied during mitosis. Why would they do it, one of these karyotypes, during mitosis? What makes it easy? Huh? That's a good thought. I never thought about that. But there's something even easier than that. Why would somebody isolate the chromosomes during mitosis? What's that?
The only one that's not interfering is like meiosis. Is that 10% that's different?
Right, but what happens? So you're getting towards it there. During mitosis, what typically happens? The nuclear envelope disintegrates and chromosomes become visible. You can see them. So that's why they grab them. That's why they always have these. You can see there's 4 chromosomes here, one for your mother, one for your father, and they're about to dissociate into dividing cells. So here you can actually see there's, if you look real closely, you can see that there's 2 sister chromatids on each of those bands there. Anyway, they're all different sizes, obviously. But we'll talk about it. So that's called a karyotype. Humans have 46 chromosomes. They have something called autosomes. Autosomes are non-sex chromosomes. How many autosomes do humans have? 44, very good. And you have 2 sex chromosomes, either XX and XY. So a quick term here, homologous chromosomes. We've talked about sister chromatids. Sister chromatids are identical because they are made during cellular replication or DNA multiplication. Homologous chromosomes are similar, but they are slightly different because you get one chromosome from your father, one from your mother. That means they are homologous chromosomes. They are both chromosome number 1, but one comes from mom, one comes from dad. So there are slightly different sequences, but if you have a gene for hair color on chromosome 1, your dad's going to have one copy of that gene, and your mom's going to have either the same or a different copy of that gene. So they are homologous chromosomes. They all have the same genes, but they can be potentially different copies of that gene, I should say. So make sure you know the difference, sister chromatids and homologous chromosomes. Alright, so when you look at organisms, you kind of have to look at their life cycle. How do they reproduce? Is it sexually? Is it asexually, as we talked about last time? In a sexually reproducing organism, it's the stages leading from adult life, from one generation to the adults of the next generation. So you have an adult, they have a baby, and then that baby becomes an adult, kind of passes it on. So each one of those generations is a life cycle. And that can vary depending on species. For humans, it's around 20 to 30 years because of cultural patterns and other things. What is it for rabbits? Anybody raise any other animals from farms or anything? What's a life cycle for another species? Come on, somebody's got pets here, right? Rabbits are what? Rabbits are actually every 4 months they can breed. That's why when they say you breed like rabbits, you breed like rabbits. They breed very quickly. Dogs and cats, usually a little bit faster. Anybody know the gestation period for what's a good one? An elephant?
It's like, yeah, 2 years.
A little less than 2 years, but it's about, I think it's 18 months.
18 months.
So you don't just care for 9 months, it's a longer period.
Yeah.
For moms. Alright, so humans are called diploid organisms because you get one copy of chromosomes from your mother, one from your father. That means you have 2 copies of each chromosome, diploid. These are your somatic cells. Gametes, or the sperm or the egg, are called haploid, meaning they have one copy or one set of chromosomes. So here's a normal life cycle of a human. You have, they've been sealed in the temple and they are now ready to start a family. They now come together and they have a baby. Dad provides, it's actually, I never noticed that, that's backwards. The man does not provide the egg, he provides the sperm. And the woman provides the egg. So, I'll write the author about that, he got it backwards. Each of these have only 23 chromosomes. That's because they come together to form diploid zygote in the process of fertilization, or the zygote will develop into a fetus, undergo mitosis and development, and now produce another adult, which will be diploid. So the process goes around and around. So this process by which a diploid cell or a diploid organism produces haploid gametes is important because it keeps the number of chromosomes the same for every generation. You cut them in half, combine a sperm and egg, that gives you 46. They didn't divide, you would continue to get more and more chromosomes. Yeah?
So the haploid is just basically like sperm and egg, or like the X and the Y chromosome?
No, more than just the X and the Y, because there's in a haploid egg there are 23 chromosomes. Chromosomes 1 through 23, or sorry, 1 through 22, and then the X or Y chromosome, depending on where it comes from, mom or dad. Yeah, good question. All right, so during the process of meiosis, there's a couple slight differences than mitosis. Number one is that you know this part, the homologous chromosomes, chromosome 1 from mom and chromosome 1 from dad, both duplicate. So now you have sister chromatids, you have 4 chromosomes. 2 homologous chromosomes here, sister chromatids here, also homologous chromosomes. Make Make sure you keep those